People, Deluded, I'm back again in my lunch break. At the risk of looking like a weirdo, a quick vid, I'm not going to be here too long. As we move into July, I don't want to say Arsenal are going to pick the pace up in regards to signing players, because I'm a fan like you lot. Honestly, I don't have a clue. But Gabriel Martinelli, the young Brazilian, got an Italian passport. We all know he's widely expected to sign, and it's been there for months, man. I mean, back as late as 2018, probably the last couple of months, 2018, this was all done, and it just became a case of when he came of age, when he obtained the necessary documents, and a case of when, not if. Apologies for the upcoming background noise, people. Again, I'm outside, but it seemed that to be, and we'll never know truly who signed him, because you'd be inclined to believe first and foremost Edu, he's got the South American sort of operations on lock, in that he works for the Brazilian FA. Could he have came across his profile, seen he was joining Arsenal and thought, you know what, let me do this thing? You also hear, in which I believe that it's a Francis Kajigia, I can never say his name, signing, because he's our senior scout. Either way, or it could even be Sanye with the South American connections. Either way, he ties into what we're trying to do. A young player with scope to grow, develop into the team and things like that. Hopefully he can go all the way. I mean, it's only 6 million. We'd love him to become a 40-50 million pound player. But if he didn't progress, you'd like to think you can make your 6 million pound back. Now, we need to be careful with the expectations. Of course, he plays in the positions we need, and he's a young player, and everybody wants to see these guys, but he's still a young man moving to England. We're going to need to give him time. What I have liked to see is that, allegedly based on what people have been tweeting, is that for the last couple of months, starting back from last year, he's been doing English classes 2 times a week. That's going to help him gel with his teammates, adapt into society. I mean, he'll have no problems on the field. Football's a universal language, people. Don't matter what language you think once the game gets going. But you also hear of Torreira's issues, and Torreira's not that much older, but this lad is just turning 18, more or less 17, just turned 18 or something. He's still got a lot. I don't know how independent he is, and his family and close people will probably accompany him with the move, but it's a new sort of independence, different. If he's living in digs at Arsenal, he's going to be living with strangers essentially. He's going to have to get to know them. He's going to have to get to know his teammates. He's going to have to wander about London by himself and have conversations and things like that. It's going to take a lot of people, and it can be lonely. Brazil and England are 2 different nations, so he's going to have a lot to adapt. But I like what I see from him, man. He's learning the language, at least he knows. He's got an Italian passport, so there's no complications. And you've also seen on Twitter, allegedly, he's been spotted in Leicester Square, so the move must be more than we already know. It must be all but official, and maybe when it officially hits July, or within the coming weeks, or even later today, before I even post this video, he could be officially confirmed. Either way, it's nice to finally have a signing, and again, can't expect fireworks. He's still young and untested. Of course, I would love this Brazilian hotshot with an eye for goal to come in the team and bad it up in the Prem, and we can be like, look at our scouting thing. But let's leave him, let's let him integrate into the team, let him find his feet off the field. Hopefully he trains with the first team. I hope it's one of them ones where he's part of the first team, more or less, in that he's obviously going to play a substantial part of the season, at least without me seeing him play for Arsenal. I assume for the 23s, training with Gooner, possibly travelling within the side and things like that. And maybe a 20 minutes here, a cup competition here, probably use the Europa League to integrate him into the side. But he's been spotted in Leicester Square, so it seems to be a case of when, not if. Obviously, like I said, people, disclaimer, if this video comes out after, then you lot know me, innit? But I'm off to the post office. This is the joys of being at the bottom of the food chain in your workplace, guys. This is what I have to do sometimes. I mean, is what it is. But thank you for listening to the quick thing. Martinelli, welcome to the club. And like I said, with Martinelli, with Amici, with Saka, Nelson, Joe, Eddie, Emil Smith-Rowe, if you can't get 2 or so of these players to progress into first team regulars or first team players of some capacity, there's something wrong, man. And to be fair, if none of these players develop, you'd like to think the club can get profit on them. That's the market we need to do. We know we've let too many young players and senior players, in fact, go on the cheap. So we need to change what we're doing. That all probably fundamentally starts with a specific program tailored for each individual, and it also means getting the contract situations right. Because you look at Gnabry, he had a year left. Rene is a bit different, but Rene Adelaide, because Emery said you're not needed here, had a year. Marlon had a year, forgive me if I'm wrong. We've let players go on a free, so we need to really change our aspect, our what we're doing in that aspect. But for now, people, I've got nothing more to add, so I'm going to get out of here. People, Deluded.